Hello and welcome back to chapter 5, lecture number 34. So we ended up with this base tree and we continue with making some adjustments to make a good looking tree. So what I'd like to do in this lecture is focusing on the core of the base root. So I want to make these two roots merge better into each other. Before we do that, I'd like to show you what the problem is with the default setting. So let's say we go to new and then we want to import a bark texture, because I first want to show you why we do things. Very important. In my opinion, it's important to show you why we do things. Even I think I sometimes ignore that. So we imported the texture. I want to go for the normal and the roughness. We will do that later on. And we go to the shading tab. Yes, there we go. And it should have a sort of a oh, this looks really, really ugly. But it doesn't matter. The problem is this area. And maybe I can make a sort of a render, because we have let's say if our tree was had a good UV map. The problem is this area. You can see that this root is just hanging inside of the other root, and I want to have a sort of a smooth transition. I won't bother that these branches do that, but the main root has this issue, and before we continue or do anything, I want to focus on that. So let's go to the default panel, solid panel. I want to convert this, because it's a curved tree, to a mesh. Go to Object, do it, convert to Mesh from Curve Meta Surf Text. That's a lot of words. And Shift left click. I left click on the root, and I left click on the other big root. Control L, P, selection. All right. So now we have this, and I want to merge these two together, so it looks very blended. Alright, so we will separate this one from the base. So now we have the base and the splitting. You can see this looks really ugly, this transition, not realistic at all. And when you're going to make this environment scene and you see this kind of transition, you will be out of the illusion. You think, hey, that looks ugly. It's just a very small thing. We spend so much time on making things good, and you see this. So let's take a look. Let's call this root. And you won't name the other one. Just shift left click on this root. You go to the modified tab and you go to the boolean. And instead of difference, you use union, and you want to select the root. So there you go. Click apply, and you delete just that one. And look at that. These are now sort of merged into each other. But it's still not like perfect. It's trying to merge it. But there is another thing you can do, and that is using the remesh. And you go to smooth, you just increase that, and you will end up in a much better result. And you go for smooth shading, and I mean it's not perfect, far from perfect, but it's definitely better than what we had. So you can even try remesh it again. I mean, I'm not that crazy. I doesn't think this is way better. Just ignore it. All right, so maybe we can change some of the intersections. I have no idea how your tree looks like, but mine is definitely needs some adjustments. Ooh, and we fill this up. Yes. Just do some fixing. And fill it, and that one as well. So you can continue doing this. I mean, there's so much dirt in this area, but spending some time on it will definitely pay off the end result. Oh, left click on it. And we fill this, and that one as well. And we have a sort of ugly area. This space, just delete it. And that one as well. And these two. Again, I don't know, but you need to just scroll around your tree and fixing these areas. Oh, it's important. And there you go. There you go. There's sort of a glitch right there. But this is just moving the vertices, right? Yeah. As long it doesn't really looks blurry, or you're good. Alright. So just small transitions. So we have these nice transition. I wouldn't call it very nice, but what to do is just making the root like a root. Press O for proportionality and just changing this a little bit. Alright. So there's a sort of a glitch right there. And just move this down. Shouldn't do that in proportional editing. Alright. There we go. So we have this root, and what I like to do now is go to the UV editing, and it will switch to the texture mode, but we want to have the solid mode, and I want to UV map it, and pressing U and smart UV projection, and we're going to scale this. In my opinion, this was the only way of making a good projection, and you will have some stitches, yeah, we're going to size this a little bit more. Yeah, and I think it's now time to improve the shading a little bit, because we now just have the diffuse. Shift D, we want to have a roughness. There you go. Non-color data. Oh, non-color data. You put this into the roughness, and we have a normal map. Go to add a vector, normal map, and there you have it. Into the normal, and that's still rough, so we should pick the normal map and non-color data again. Alright, decrease the specular to 0.02 because it's a root of the tree. It's a bog, and that's not reflective. So we go to material preview, and well, we're probably going to change that, but for the if you just zoom out and you see this tree, it's not bad, you know. You can see some texture glitches over there, but as I already mentioned, it's this bog to UV unwrap it. It was very, very hard because we remeshed it. You can also see these roots. We maybe can scale this a little bit. Yeah, not quite sure what the idea behind this is. It's definitely not looking high detail. Just scale this a little bit to have a bit more detail, but it's, as I already mentioned, but you won't really see these branches, so it's not a big deal. Let's make it smaller. Alright, so one more thing I like to do with this root is you go to the modify tab, and you go to subdivision surveys, and we want to have displacement, and then we want to have a texture. Let's call this bog texture. Doesn't have, yeah, bog texture. This on the dark displacement, and we want to dark brown. We go back to the modifiers tab, and we want to UV it. Well, the UV coordinates, and we use a value of 0.15. Yeah, and change the mid level to 0, and go to the solid view and increase the amount of. All right. So maybe over 0.2. All right. So I maybe want to change. It's just for the outside look, and it's not bad. It's not good. It's not terrible, but it's like you want to have a good result, right? So my problem right now is I want to make the bark a bit more thick. So go to proportional editing. And this area as well. Just a little bit. Yeah. Good. So make this 4 and keep this low. And a quick render. And it looks like this. I have to say I'm happy with what we achieved right now. So I think it's time to, I don't know how much time we have left, it's 10 minutes. So in the next lecture we will focus on defining where we want to put the leaves, well, twigs on the tree. But we now have a nice root, and I think we've done a great job in this lecture. Alright, see you in the next one. Bye bye.